Привет, друзья, это я, Леонард.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Stanley Барабай. Не знаю, почему у меня не на русском. Здесь, короче, есть 1000 консолей. Я, типа, короче, чувак. Люблю работать за компом. И просто тыкаю кнопки. Работа прекрасная, если честно. Вон тут есть бухло. Или это бухло, не знаю. Иди выпей. Здесь, короче, 1000 и более консолей.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Как Стэнли старался, он не мог найти всех. Он под стол залезть и подожди. Так что я знаю, что так можно, поэтому это я решил сделать. Эй. Вылезаю. Вылетаю из такси.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Ты здесь типа останешься? Нет.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Ладно, постоим тут. Эй, гараж. Ладно. Понятно. Не, я просто не хочу ждать, это скучно. Открыто? Ток-ток. Ток-ток.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Пробуем делать все нормально. Марио! Марио! Hey, Mario! Hey, it's very good! Mario! А сюда можно?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Тук-тук.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Слева. У меня шизофрения.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Короче,
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Тук-тук.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring.
It
It had really been worth it, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Я зашел в первую дверь слева. Хорошо.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Вообще просто сидеть тут. Сидишь такое и все. Да, говори. Говори, кто ты должен написаться. Возьми ручку, напишите на компьютере. Поиграй в Майнкрафт. Зачем тебе эта работа? Лучше играть в Майнкрафт или в Roblox.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Все? В смысле? Просто идешь вперед и не слушаешь.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Давай просто будем делать, как он говорит. Ну просто, как бы, короче, спидран. Спидран. Я как Соник.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Будем делать, как он говорит. Потом уже будем делать наоборот. Все. Наоборот.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, it would be another story entirely. But no, this is what he was going to do instead.
Когда выпустили эту игру?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. 2845.
2, 8, 4, 5. 8, 2, 5, 4. Камера. Ого.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Нет. Я буду кликать. Почему там так окно скрылось? Ай, мне темно, я ничего не вижу. Ай, я в стенку ударился. Что это? Пахнет винишком. Ай, в стенку ударился. Так, что дверь? Ай, в стенку ударился. Ай, блин, больно. Кто тоже в стенку, ай, в стенку. Какой там пароль? А давай сейчас идем. 2, 8, 4, 5. 5. Да блин, я не хочу. Давай на пиано. Ладно, варианта нет. Так. Есть невидимость? Проход. О, начинается темно. Лампа не мигает, еще хоррор начинается. Лодинг, 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 лодинг. Такс.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Блин, так надо привлекать. Но я буду делать все, что он говорит.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Блин, не работает. Эй, камера, привет. Давай быстрее.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ага. Можно отменить.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ну, допустим. Эй. Привет.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
По-моему, это все не настоящее. Видишь, у нас картон, куда-то. Графика, конечно, 4К. Трава прям 4К. Офигеть. Да почему на столе, а зачем все это? Столчик. И все, что надо. Так, подождем. Hello. Ждем. О, птица. А я не буду. Дянь. Ну ладно.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Бум! Ядерная бомба. Достижение открыто. Ну ладно, на этом я буду заканчивать. Ставьте лайк и подписывайтесь на канал. С вами был Леонайдон. Всем